My gosh, that was intense. Okay, so the haves and the have nots, season 4, episode 16, The Heart of a Man. Okay, I'm telling you, like, haves and the have nots, he, I can't even get my words out. Tyler Perry has been having so many good episodes, but this episode, like, you felt all the emotion that just, like, it was an episode that made you so, like, sick to your stomach, yet it made you, like, love some characters even more, hate some even more. Like, you just wanted, like, people to die in the episode. Like, it was craziness. I felt like I was like there watching. Like, this felt so real. Okay, clearly I'm attached to this show. But anyways, let's just jump into it. Okay, so the episode starts off with Hannah while she's in the middle of giving Jim Cryer the news about Wyatt's death. Of course, Jim is stunned. Like, you see, like, he's having a meltdown, and like they're true, genuine feelings, and he's just like, I can't believe it. He's asking her all of these questions, like, have you seen him? Have they taken him to the hospital? Did he die alone? Oh my gosh, I hope he didn't die alone. Did they think it was an overdose, or did they know it was an overdose? I mean, just craziness. I mean, really all the same questions that we're all asking, because a lot of people don't believe that Wyatt is dead, and I'm like, how are you going to pronounce him dead? Like, I still have not seen y'all take him to the hospital and officially pronounce him dead. I feel like they should have done all that, or before they contacted the parents, or they should have had Catherine Cryer meet them at the hospital and, like, identify the body. But whatever. So she's like, I don't know, I don't have the answers, and he's just breaking down. So at this point, of course, as a parent, he wants to take matters into his own hands. Okay, so he can't get out of jail. He has his hands tied behind his back. He's going crazy, beating on the door so the guards can open up and let him in. And he said, I need to see the DA. Well, they're like, sir, we don't work for you, okay? You're an inmate right now. And so he's telling Hannah, please, please, please talk to the DA. Please just do one thing for me. Please, 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 please. I have to get out of here. Hannah is like, I mean, I feel for you and all, but I don't work for you anymore. Like, you or Miss Cryer, like, no, like, I can't get any more involved in this. Like, my only job was to come down here and tell you. But with the type of heart that Hannah has, I wouldn't have been shocked if she was just like, okay, let me go talk to the DA. But if he were to get out of jail, he's gonna go, like, crazy, because his emotions are all over the place. Like, there's no telling what he'll be capable of doing. So, whatever the case, next thing you know, we see we're back at the tow truck company with Benny and with War. So, War's looking at his phone. It's 5:04. War is ready to, like, pop Benny. Okay, but because he still hasn't gotten a picture text of his money. So Benny is like, I'm so mad that David Harrington has my phones turned off. I am going to go find him, and it's about to be on and popping. Okay, so then War is like, nah, bro, you can't leave. You can't leave. He was like, why not? Like, I'm serious. Like, I'm about to get it in. I was like, I feel like killing him. Like, I don't like when people play with me about my money. This is affecting my money. And War was like, trust me, I understand. And he's basically talking about, yeah, like, because I want to kill you. But whatever. And so War is like, nah, just chill out for a second. Don't leave. Don't leave. I need you to calm down. Be level-headed. Let's spend some time together and bond. He is like, okay, cool, I'll calm down, but afterwards, I'm going to go find dude. Meanwhile, Mitch pulls up. Mitch pulls up, and he pulls his car behind War's car to block him in. He then pulls the tow truck in front of Benny's car so you can't see out of the window what he's doing. At that point, he gets a tire that we know is going to be filled with drugs, and he like picks War's trunk, puts the tire in there, and puts the trunk down. So then Mitch goes inside, and he's like, what's up? What's going on? Like, he has, like, a real, like, evil demeanor towards War, too. Like, Mitch is not scared, and that's what I like. So then Benny is like, yeah, I'm about to go hit up dude David and see what's going on with him. And so then, what's his face? Mitch is like, okay, let's go. War's like, y'all ain't going nowhere. And I'm like, oh, man, the cat's about to be out the bag. And he was like, no, you're not going anywhere. And he was like, well, what's the problem? They looking at him like, okay, well, why are you blocking us in? So next thing you know, he gets a text message, a picture of the money. So he was like, oh, okay, cool. Yeah, y'all can go. Go ahead. Go ahead. And so then he goes outside. Ward comes back in to Mitch and was like, you need to move your car. He was like, oh, gladly. He's like, yeah. Man, Mitch is like, mm-hmm. So as soon as he goes to move his car, Mitch sends a text message, and it was basically like yeah, he's leaving. You can go ahead, send in the tip for them to come find him. Okay, so let me just finish up their storyline. So then Mitch meets up with Candace, and Candace is like looking real scared and sad. She gives him the money. He says, is it all here? It better not be a dollar missing. She's like, I promise you it's all there. I'm so sorry. I should have told you about the $4 million, although we all know that it was $7 million, but it was hard enough for her to get that too. So, okay, he was like, okay, so we're cool now. She was like, you ain't going to be stopping by my house unexpectedly, are you? No, 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 no. Okay, are you sure? Will you call before you come? It was so crazy because Ward was trying to act normal. He was like, no, you good now. Like, we're back to normal. Like, you have avenged yourself $2 million worth. So, we're good. And she's like, okay. And Candace is like super sad. At this point, she goes and sits in her car. She's crying even when he drives away. Okay, so then suddenly, he's driving. Next thing you know, police officers pull him over, make him get out of the car. I was like, just kill him, man, because I'm tired of him. Like, I don't even need him to be alive in jail because he probably has connects like in the jailhouse, or he'll just get his free phone call and he'll call people and he'll get Candace handled. I don't like that. So of course he automatically thinks Candace is the one that set him up, and then so she could get her money back, but that's really not the case. But whatever. So he's being taken to jail, and apparently for the amount of drugs that were in there, he can be taken to jail for a long period of time. Now, let's go to Veronica's house. This is where the meat of the story happened. Okay, so Veronica has been losing it like this whole episode. Melissa, which I was calling her Erica in the last video, but Melissa is upstairs with Jeffrey, and he's just like, I'm not staying here, I'm not doing this, whatever. And she's like, Melissa, she tries to come off as innocent, but she is like a little wicked witch. Like, her attitude comes out real quick. And she's like, look, you're going to do it. You can do whatever you want to do. Be with whatever man you want to be with. This is just a facade we're putting on, okay? Because I need the money to make sure my parents are taken care of, okay? You can do you, whatever. I think the room is nice. If I could get rid of your mama, I would. So if you have a plan, then I'm all for it. And if you have a plan and the plan consists of me getting my money for my parents, then I'm good. He was like, I mean, I can get myself out of this. I can get you out of this. And she's like, well, then you need to go along with it, okay? It's not that hard. Just pretend to act happy. Whatever the case. So then next thing you know, David Harrington walks through the door, and Veronica walks up to him, and she's like, oh, you could have told me you were here, all this stuff. He's like, I'm here to get my son. I already filed the divorce papers, and he is not safe here with you. I'm getting my son. So then he calls Jeffrey down there. Jeffrey comes down there, and he's like, son, you can go. She doesn't have anything else to hold over your head at this point. And Jeffrey, he's like looking down, which like really pisses me off because he's so scared of his mama. But I understand because she's holding it over his head that Quincy is dead, and Jeffrey, she knows Jeffrey has something to do with it. And so she'll just let the cat out the bag. And his dad kept trying to get him to tell him, what is going on? What is she holding over you? I can help you. It couldn't be any worse in the car. And Veronica was like, oh, it's worse, honey. It is worse. And he's like, you can come with me. Please come with me. Whatever. She calls Melissa downstairs. Melissa says hi to David and all this stuff. And Veronica is like, they're moving in with me. And David is like, are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? And he's actually getting like hype with her. So I was excited about that. Next thing you know, Veronica gets a phone call from Catherine, gets off the phone like it's nothing. She was like, oh, Wyatt died. And like Jeffrey is like losing it, because at the end of the day, it's not like him and Wyatt were in a relationship. I mean, we all know that as all these years has gone along, he helped Wyatt when Wyatt was like in going through like recovery and things. He has like a genuine love for Wyatt, and it's not even necessarily like an intimacy. Like they've been friends since they were kids. So with that being said, that's like his best friend dying. So he's like, what in the world? He is like breaking down. We got to go see him. And David's like, you can come with me so we can go see him. And Veronica's like, he ain't going nowhere. He can go with me. So he's like, okay, let's go. Well, Veronica sits down and gets a drink and is taking her sweet, precious time. She is talking to him like he is like not even a child, like a dog. Like, you better sit down. You're going to wait. I'm not done. I'm not done with my drink. And you need to quit sitting there crying and whimpering. She was telling him he was acting like a wimp and a sissy. It was horrible. And your little junkie friend died. Like, it was horrible. And saying like he was bad for you in your life anyway. And oh, look at that, your dad, his little witch would be she died, and now your little witch would be died. So even better. Like, it was horrible. And I'm like, lady, you have no heart. Like, it was like, ugh. And then she says, I'm so happy that Melissa's going to have a boy because, now I get a second chance. We all deserve a do-over. I can raise a man. And I'm like, that was horrible. Like, horrible. Like, I thought she was horrible the way that she talked to him when he told her he was gay. But to say we all deserve a second chance, a do-over, I have the opportunity to actually raise a man, saying that Jeffrey is not a man, and basically like she needs a second chance with technically his own kid, like, that is insane. And I feel like she would like torture that little boy. So I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, it was just breaking my heart. Like, the verbal abuse was just like outrageous, like constant. Like, you were like beating him down with your words, and you know it. And he's like, can we go? And she's like, no. And when we get over there, don't be doing all that whimpering and crying and stuff. I don't want to hear it. Don't do it. So he's just like, okay. She's like, dry your tears or we're not going anyway. It was horrible. Like, you would have thought he was like 2, but I wouldn't treat my 2-year-old like that. Anyway, so of course he has to drive her there, and because she's drunk. And she just keeps saying like rude and disrespectful stuff. She gets over there, pretends like she actually cares for Catherine and is saying sorry and all this. And then he says, is it true? Catherine said, yes, it's true. And he's like crying and just breaking down. Hannah's consoling him. And Veronica was like, don't touch my son. Get your hands off my son. She was like, yeah, I won't touch your son when you stop touching mine. So then she was like, they go back and forth. She doesn't have any control over Hannah, and I feel like Hannah be ready to hit her. And then she was like, Jeffrey, don't be embarrassing me, breaking down crying. Like, people in this neighborhood, they don't cry. You act like you came from Hannah's neighborhood. I'm like, look, there goes strike 2. Why are you doing all of this mess? And supposedly Catherine's son just died. Like, what? Like, you're a horrible person. And Catherine was like, you didn't have to come over. Like, I just wanted you to know just so that you didn't have to hear it on TV. And she's like, oh, well, good. Well, we'll go ahead and leave. Come on, Jeffrey. Jeffrey's like, I'm not going nowhere. I need to see him. I just need to see it for myself. And Catherine was like, I understand, because, it's when you lose somebody you love, it's not real until you see them. And he's like, yep, I'm not going nowhere. She's like, Jeffrey, you're going. You're going to get up and you're going to go. And he is looking at the bottle, and she sees him looking at the bottle, and she's like, what, you going to hit me over the head with a bottle? Oh, that's funny. All over you crying over a man. He said, he was my friend. She said, I don't care. Like, you look ridiculous because you're sitting here crying over a man. Do you see his mother crying? Do you see the maid crying? I'm like, oh my gosh, y'all have so much patience, because I would have had to I can't even imagine. Like, I would have snapped. And that is exactly what Jeffrey did. He got tired of it because she said, you see that bottle, you're not going to do anything about it, because it would take a man with some heart. If you had heart, you'd hit me, but you don't have the heart. And he's like, oh, you know what? Like, it's just boiling up. Next thing you know, he snaps. And I was like, yes! I was here for it. I was so happy. Like, it was horrible, but I was so happy. That was like the first time on this show where it was like violence, and I was towards a woman, and I was like super happy. So next thing you know, he gets the knife, he stabs her in the chest, bam, cut to commercial for next week, and I'm super excited. So, as always, like, comment, and subscribe, and check me out at Miss